Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. Tarek Gindi with the Mr. Olympia. I'm here with the iconic 1993 Mr. USA's four-time Ironman champion, the legend himself, the real deal, Chris Cormier. Good afternoon, Chris.
How you doing, Tarek? Good to see you, brother.
Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Here's the deal. The Portugal Pro just finished. Andrea Presti won the show. The Italian stallion. This guy has been to the Mr. Olympia. But the first thing I want to talk to you, Chris, is about the hype around this guy, Stefan Matala. He's got huge hype on the internet. He went in there and delivered the goods, but came in second place. What's going on with this guy? What do you think? Is he overhyped? Is he underhyped? What's going on?
I think for the most part, people just saw his genetic potential and just ran with it because, he has a lot of upside, great development in his physique. His back is going to need to do a lot of improvements, as you see here. And I think that, front double bicep needs to improve, stuff like that. But I think when he puts it all together, when he gets the understanding of what poses he needs to hit, what type of, presentation he needs to display and get the most out of his physique, most out of those lats, when he does pose, I think that's going to do him well. And I could see him having a bright future.
So is he underhyped? Do you think this guy is as good as people are talking about?
I think he can be as good. I think he's just young and green in the sport. I think he deserves it. I think, but putting him up there with Bumstead and putting him up there with the top in the sport already, I think that was a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm gonna give you my judging feedback to him. First, his conditioning is good. It's not great. Second of all, his back double biceps needs to be a little bit wider and he needs to add thickness. He's a good poser, right, Chris? I mean, he needs to fix a few angles.
He's feeling his body, but he still needs to do the poses that's going to do him the best in that particular pose. And open up the body, utilize the lats more. He's not utilizing his body as well as he can and should, but he feels it. But he's got to get the technical way to hit the poses.
Is he a Chris Cormier flex wheeler in the beginning of his career? Yes or no?
I could see that.
So you think that if he fills up with time, this guy can be as good as Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler?
I would say yes. If he does it the right way, paying close attention and being a master in the gym, a master in the posing room. And then, I think the physique is going to come along with the graininess and the hardness along with maturity.
The back double biceps is quite narrow though, right?
Yeah, he's crunching it in. He's not spreading his lats in this pose. He's not utilizing his body correctly. He's both even the weight on his feet. I could see that he could extend that left leg back a little bit and really take advantage of getting on that calf and hamstring in this pose. He's like, I don't know if he's flat-footed, but he's not really utilizing his feet the way he should. Do
you think he's gonna be a little bit crucified right now in the internet because the hype was so big? Now it's the internet, and people are crazy about the hype. Do you think he's gonna be crucified because he didn't win the show?
Probably just the weekend warrior types, but people who can actually see his potential, I think it's just a stepping stone. You're not going to win every show out there. And just to compete, I think with the social media era, people want to win everything they get into. It's like, uh, you know, as we were coming up, we just wanted to compete just to see where we stood and also get the experience. And then as you get experience, you get better and better. As you do a show, you got to compete to get better. You can't just get better at home or watching the internet and watching who's doing what. You got to get out there and get on the stage.
Based on this result, do you expect him to make it to the Olympia this year? Yes or no?
He could very well compete again if he chooses to. If I was him, I would just like I say, just to use it as a measuring stick and seeing where you fare in the world. I would do all I can to get into Olympia this year. It's not time to just go back to the drawing board just yet.
Yeah, I gotta tell you this, Chris. It wasn't, it's not coincidence, but maybe 2-3 years ago, there was a young competitor that had huge hype, and he went to Europe to compete. I don't know if it was Spain or Portugal, but one of them, and he took second. And some people said, well, he's not as good as we think he is. And they basically, they took all the hype and they went against him. And his name is Ramon Dino,
Right.
The guy turned out to be really, really good. So I'm a little bit on his side. I don't want people to go, well, he's overhyped. He didn't deserve this hype. The guy competed, took second, looks great. There's a lot of improvements that need to be made, but I appreciate what this young man is trying to do.
Yes, for sure. And I see his upside and I see his potential. I even reached out to him and followed him on Instagram and told him I'm going to be watching his career and wished him luck. And yeah, man, I think we see some really good things from him.
Now, just one final question. My apologies. When you look at his posing, Chris, it looks like he's making some basic mistakes that could be fixed right away.
Right.
What would it be that you see here that he's not doing?
Well, when he hits he's not getting the body opened up enough on a lot of his poses. Everyone, when you hit a pose, you want to flare those lats. You want to utilize those lats, especially when you hit those twisted back shots. You want to be able to feel your lat fully. And I don't think he's paying attention to his lats. Especially as not his strong point just yet. You have to do all you can to utilize your physique as best you can. I would say the back double bicep also is contracting his scapulas together, not flaring them out, not using the lats to flare and open up the back with that pose. Front double bicep can improve. Also, from the front, he likes to do this thing on Instagram when he's using his chest like that. But he's making himself super narrow on a lot of these poses. He's not keeping the width of his body. And as you see here, you still when you hit a shot, like even that side chest, you got to really pick that chest up and utilize your chest fully, and then come around. He's sinking down into the pose, and that's not going to help you when it comes to someone, especially standing next to you. Back double bicep right here, he's not really feeling that he needs to open that back up. Even this most right here, you could bring both your elbows towards the crowd more. That's going to get you the most of that pose. Even that particular classic shot, he's not opening up there either. But like I said, the potential is there, and I'm really looking for great things to come from this guy.
Now, Chris, so a lot of people are saying that he lost over 30 pounds to enter the show. A lot of people say Ramon Dino struggles to get into the classic. You know this. Because you saw it with Breon Ansley. Are these guys open bodybuilders that are trying to squeeze in the classic?
Well, some can be, and you can't utilize your physique to its full potential if you're actually in shape, and then you still have to take some pounds off to make the weight cut. So you're not utilized. You're not. That's not really bodybuilding. Uh, it's more like a wrestling tactic to cut a bunch of weight and make it to a weight class, and it's not gonna, do your best effort when you go to compete. But
Well,
I mean, he if you know 20 pounds is still pretty good. 25 pounds still pretty good when it comes to losing weight. If it's 30 plus, that's what Breon used to do is come down so far to where uh, he's eating into his muscle, and even the fine fat that's the intermuscular fat that keeps the shape of a muscle that also gets hindered when you lose so much weight.
and then we have the young man. We're gonna cover all of them on Olympia TV. The young man that beat him, I gotta find his Instagram here. I'm using the footage from Desktop Bodybuilding. Xavier, he might be getting in with us here, but I think the guy that beat him was just a little bit more experienced than
Yeah,
him,
Grumpy
and
Grizzly.
yeah, a little bit larger on top. The conditioning was a little bit deeper. And, looking at the front double biceps, especially right here on the small picture, he needs a lot more back width, right?
Yes, yes, and that's gonna come with trying to, do all he can to bring those lats a little bit lower. You can only do so much, but you can probably get another inch or two lower out of those lats just with training alone.
Very cool. Yeah, I think the name of the guy, the one is Grumpy
Grumpy
Grizzly.
Grizzly.
Grumpy Grizzly IFBB Pro.
Yeah.
Let's get his name right, because the last thing I want, Chris, is to have a Grumpy Grizzly upset with me. He actually follows me here. His name is Antoine Loth, and I think he is Spanish and American. He's got a flag here. Let me follow him back.
He's pretty
But yeah,
grumpy though, huh?
congratulations to the Grumpy Grizzly IFBB Pro from Spain. The guy beat Stefan, and now all the eyes are going to be on him. I mean, how good is this guy that just beat this young phenom?
Well, you just got to look at it different ways. Maybe it's more so like he's got more shows under his belt and he has more experience in that sense. You know, but still, the internet's going to be the internet. They look at potential. They look at whatever's going to catch their eye. Some people blow up. Some people don't. Some people don't carry that type of hype.
Very cool. Very cool. Great job here by Xavier. He finds out the people in the internet. I actually invited Xavier to come in and join us. He might be getting in very soon here with us. Let me go to the open bodybuilding, and we're talking about Andrea Presti. You know Andrea Presti. You've worked with him a little bit with the posing. Talk to me about Andrea Presti. What do you think about this guy going back to the Olympia?
Andreas Presti, I know at the Olympia he wasn't happy about his overall, condition and the way he plays. I know they did a lot of competing last year, and I knew he was going to come back in full force and do something a little special this year. He's from Italy. Like you said, the Italian stallion. He wants to be known as the best Italian, I know for sure. And I liked his back. He was a big guy. I saw him here in California. Way bigger in person than it looks like on Instagram for sure. But yeah, I was really happy to speak with these guys, and I consider myself one of the guys that's in the field. I'm not in the bleachers. I'm actually in the field with the guys. I'm in the posing area, posing mirror, trying to help who I can that I see that can potentially get better and better, and wants to get better and better.
Can he make it? Look, that's him and Michael Crezo here. He plays second. Can Andrea Presti?
He has a big back. He has some great upside. He's very hard in this condition. it's very hard in this show here today. And yeah, man, I think he can do really well. I think he'll make a big jump in his placing from last year's Olympia.
Can he make it to the top 10?
I think he has potential to make the top 10 for sure. Yes, for sure. If he brings that same type of conditioning, I don't see why he couldn't do that.
Well, there you have it, guys. Stefan plays second. Let's give credit. He didn't have any hype, but the Grumpy Grizzly. We got all these names now, Chris. We got the Sauce Man, the Grumpy Grizzly. I mean, what's going on with our industry?
And Ramon Rex took second to Presti also. So Big Rex over there, he's bringing his A game.
You mean Roman? You mean Roman Fritz?
Yeah, Roman Fritz, but you got Rex as his little moniker there.
German bodybuilder.
Yeah, even the guy Emir that took third, he's 24 years old, so he has so much upside. I mean, I can't imagine being 24 and being that size. The guy took third.
That's Roman right here. Roman has good conditioning, and so does Emir. But these guys are not big guys. They're not Marcos Rule big.
No, not yet. But like I said, Emir is like 24 years old, so he has so much time. Doing it right is going to, be something he needs to do. So, congratulations to Presti and Ramon. These guys, they brought it. And yeah, man.
Hey, Chris, now we have to behave because the most credible man at Primetime Muscle has just joined us.
We were playing good. We were playing nice in the sandbox. Don't worry.
Without me, that's genius. I've never seen that before. You guys, have you been going to some kind of anger management therapy?
I have.
We are both improving our anger management since you've recommended. Now, Tim, I have a question for you. This young man here, we were talking about Stefan, is this young man that got much hype in the internet. He's like people are calling him, and even Chris Cormier said himself, this is a young Chris Cormier. This is a young Flex Wheeler. Okay? He's getting much hype here. Now, he doesn't win his first show. He actually places second. The key question is, are people going to hold on, let me find it here. That's got it in the Dennis.
He's an icon.
He's an icon. Okay. Are people gonna crucify this guy because he got all this hype and he didn't win the show?
No, second is a beautiful showing. I will say though, you're talking about some of the biggest and best physiques in the history of our sport with Chris and Flex. I'm looking at a guy right there that has the size, shape, and symmetry to be a young Terrence Ruffin, or not that Terrence is older, but maybe even a larger Breon. But I'm not seeing the kind of just massive quality density that those two classic physiques brought. The guys that were top in the world for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, I have to say that this guy has the world of potential, but to call him the next Chris Cormier Flex Wheeler might be a little bit of a stretch, huh?
It's all going to depend on him, man. I just think he has potential to do whatever he needs to do in this sport. I was young in the sport, competing as a teenager, on up into my early 40s. So sometimes it takes time, but I think doing the right way, with the right guidance or the right help, he can. It's not like it's going to happen all on its own, but I think it's potential there.
But now, to your point, Tarek, when somebody comes out with a ton of hype and takes 4th or 6th or 8th or doesn't make top 10, that says you got a long way to go. Taking second at this level says you're there. You're that close. I mean, what was it? A 2 or a 5-point game? These scorings are so tight anymore.
Okay, we have to talk about something that might be uncomfortable to us. This guy, Lionel Beyeke, Lionel Beyeke was supposed to be the next Kai Green. possibly one of the smallest waist. He missed his peak in many shows. Conditioning was his problem. He goes to Portugal Pro. And Chris, this was a big disappointment. Have we lost hope on Lionel Beyeke, or we still have a chance to see this guy condition, crushing the stage? When is this going to happen? What is going on? Is it mental?
Well, I mean, I think this is it was an improvement from the last time he did step on stage. I got to give him that. But your mentality is going to be in question if you're not a young guy anymore. It's like you got to do all you can, get the most help or the biggest push, not just a bunch of yes men around you, and to help you be your best. You got to sometimes get very uncomfortable with yourself and be like, okay, if I want to do this, I got to do this, and I have to work harder than ever. And maybe you think you're working hard, but maybe it's not hard enough sometimes. Maybe it's not hard enough in the pose. Maybe it's not hard enough in the training. Maybe you got to feel that burn and embrace that burn during your set more,
But it looks like he's just not coming in condition at all, Chris. I mean, it's got to be the diet, the cardio, the end of. I mean, Tim, what do you think? Is this mental? Because this guy has the world of potential.
It might be mental. There might be something like you're saying, Tarek, that's key in his diet at the end. These guys jump around from coach to coach, so it's hard to knock down what's going, I won't say wrong, but what's not going right enough, because at this level, it's all pretty tight. But, you realize at the top three of a show like Orlando last weekend, you had Hassan Mustafa and Phil Klehar. Both those guys were so close, they had to judge by something I've never even heard of, relative scoring. So when you come in a little off, you're buried. When you come in a lot off, you're not even a consideration. You're in that second or third call out. That's time to just back up, look at everything you're doing, pick it apart and say, okay, is it an hour cardio? Is it hour AM, hour PM? What am I not doing that's got me up there standing next to those guys that are being compared over and over and over?
I would love to see this guy ripped, winning shows. I remember judging him, about 6-7 years ago at the California Pro. He took 5th, and everybody was saying if this guy was ripped, he would have won the show easy. And we still have not seen him dominate the stage. I would love to see him condition. Chris, give him a call, bring him to San Diego, get this guy in shape.
I don't know if he can come to San Diego, but if he could, I'd welcome him anytime. He knows this. I know him personally. He knows I'm always there if he needed some help in any kind of way or some type of push. Come on, Lionel, man. I know you have more than to show, but like I said, I did see an improvement. I give you your props for that. I just think you can get a little bit more of that physique.
Come on, get your canteen and your sleeping bag and go up for Camp Cormier for a couple of weeks. Go down there with the rest of the campers.
Let's go, man. Let's just do it.
I want to give a shout out to Xavier from Desktop Bodybuilding. He's he always gets real quick footage for us. Here we go. Here's the deal. This guy was supposed to win this show, Chris, Tim, Vlad the Impaler. I saw in India, he was guest posing. He looked like a freak, huge, humongous. What happened here, Chris?
I just think sometimes people get caught up in the weight, how much they weigh and how much they bring to the stage. As far as, I'm close to that 300-pound mark. It just looked like even in the stomach area in this pose right here, it just looked like he just didn't reach the pinnacle of his peak here. Those delts are way overpowering, and in my opinion, not necessary for a physique to be powerful. You got to get those. You got to balance that whole physique out. I mean, it just takes away from the legs and everything in this pose.
Where did he end up placing, Tarek?
I'm still waiting for the results, but he wasn't on the first call out. Chris, are those delts overpowering, overdeveloped, or
everything?
see an imbalance?
I mean, you just got to balance your physique out. Like that don't make any sense to me at all to have that big of delts. I mean, I used to think, you can't have too big of delts, but this shows me that yes, you can have too big of delts. I mean, that just takes away from everything.
That reminds me, Terrica, when you
in the
go
comments saying that he was 6th place, so I mean,
Playboy stummy hurt.
Playboy, I see you, baby. Thank you.
That his delts look like when you take your kids bowling and you keep telling them that ball's too big for you. Leave that alone. That's a 16-pound dumbbell right there. That's a 16-pound bowling ball to your side.
Right. You're right. Too big. And then I always tell this to a lot of guys that compete that I come in contact with. I'm like, what are you doing with your midsection? Like, how can you have all these bells and whistles going on and your midsection is not on point and each ab is like in this shot here, great. That's what you want to be able to show. And that's how you want powerful abs. But that most muscular to the front, that's still, you got to pay close attention to that.
So Tim, it looks like he's conditioned. It looks like he's massive. Placing 6th place, do you think the overpowering shoulders got him down?
Absolutely. There's some imbalances. And that's one of those things that I don't know if you can even, Arnold said it a few years ago that, you can't spot reduce or spot grow anything, because when you do, the areas you're trying to change the imbalances to grow along with it. He's in a tough spot. I don't know what sport he played or how hard he concentrated on those delts. But that front and side delt is just, in that pose especially, it's almost like a hunch. That's a massive delt.
Even on the right side, right? You see the right side of his arm, it's coming out on the right side too, right?
Loan me some of that for Masters Nationals next year, bro. I could use it, just a little scrape off the top.
But when you contort your physique like that, you hit a pose, you want to get the best out of the physique. It's like he's taken away from making the legs look really small here. I think you can open up that right leg a little bit and utilize your body better in this pose. I used to hit that pose, but it didn't look like that.
So Chris, now looking at that, that's a great shot right there. He looks nice. He looks really good. Also,
he's not conditioned here. Right here, he is not conditioned, right? The back does not look very imposing, right, Tim?
Is that conditioning or is that development? Because, I mean, you should be able to see way more development, and I just see, like, so much more quantity than quality in this shot.
Or Chris, is that another issue with posing where there's just no flare right there? If he was able to flare out those lats and pose that a little bit bigger, it would tighten that waist up, and it would make the entire process look different back there. And you might see more conditioning if he was posing it harder.
It's a lot going on right here.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
A lot going on good, a lot going on bad, Chris.
More quantity than quality. I need more quality in this back double bicep than the quantity of the physique and the shoulders and the everything like that.
You know what, guys? Also, one thing I think that would change the scope of those delts, he's going to need to bring those arms up to deaden those delts a little, and I think that peak would look really good sitting next to the bulge on those delts. If he could bring his peak up a little.
You can change your physique by putting more pressure on parts of your body and less pressure on the other parts of your body. So you need to just lay off these shoulders, or
I saw this guy guest posed in India when I was there in New Delhi, and he looked incredible. I thought he was going to win the show. I'm surprised he placed 6th, but that's bodybuilding for you. Look, he's got all the size in the world. Look at those legs. This is not a good posing. How can he improve this posing, Chris?
Shit. You're going to have to bring those hands a little bit lower, and you want to sit your hips back away from the crowd, flexing the right leg to the right, left leg to the left. Might help some flare in those quads. But I think for the most part, his hands are too high. I think I'm get those hands closer to the belly button area, and keep them way out to the sides. Maybe you can even push your waist a little bit smaller to get more flare. But right here, you're just looking so straight up and down. It's not going to help you when it comes to the judging. I'm sure the judges saw a lot of other guys that has way more flare to their physique than this.
Yeah, I don't know. Great guy, great potential. I don't know what happened in the show, but I was expecting more from Vlad. Let's see some of the other competitors here. This is Presti at prejudging.
Presti looked good. Andrea Presti looked good.
I mean, he's going to look a little bit small in the Mr. Olympia, right? Chris, Tim, he doesn't have the size to go against guys like Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford. I mean, you're looking at a battle between him and Rafael Brandão and some of the most streamlined guys.
Right. I'd say that, but I still think he can sneak into that top 10 area. But yeah, you're gonna get a little bit more out of the legs and just keep trying to balance that physique out as you get closer to Olympia is going to be something you need to pay close attention to.
Well, guys, you don't want to talk about getting put back a couple of places. I just emceed for Lee Labrada last week, the Lee Labrada Classic. And of course, where are you going to get a guest poser when you're a Labrada? Hunter shows up. He has dialed his waist down, his back out, his shoulders are balanced. He looks 50% better than last year.
Yeah, he had one of the best off season I've seen as far as improvement goes out of the top guys. Nick Walker's coming up there also, but and I'm just saying that I think Derek Lunsford he is doing some damage too. So I mean, we're gonna see some. I think it's gonna be one of the best Olympians. I thought last year was gonna be really good. I think this year is gonna be even better.
Quick question. I hope he didn't charge his father.
That's posing? Yeah, sure he did. Sure he did. Oh yeah.
You think he charged his father?
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, I think he's working out with his gym membership at that Windsor gym.
Get that money, Hunter. Get that money.
He bought him a couple of shakes and a new hat. There he is right there.
See, I see some video. This don't do him exactly justice as far as this video is concerned. But what I always like to see is like his posing. Everyone knows he has an injury in his chest, but he does such a good job at hiding that injury and making it seem like he has nothing going on but positivity in his physique. And I really commend him on that. Every time you see him even touch on it, he relaxes that muscle and it looks very balanced with the other side, which is that's pretty amazing posing.
And guys, for being this far out at this big, he was well conditioned. He wasn't the usual guest poser water buffalo that's way off season.
Yeah, he's going to compete soon, so I think for the most part, I mean, he's right where he should be right now. But I think it's going to be a vastly improved Labrada.
He's doing Tampa Pro August, and then 2 weeks later, a week later, he's doing Texas.
Well, he's going to have to face Andrew Jack in one of them, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's going to be a tough one. But
have we talked about Andrew Jack and the improvements? You talk about a phenomenal offseason.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, guys?
Go ahead, Terry.
I have to say, man, Andrew Jack, genetically speaking, is incredible. I mean, he's a freak of nature. He's like that NBA guy that's 7'5" and can dribble the ball. That's Andrew Jack for you. But Andrew Jack has a big problem. And his big problem comes in the name of Derek Lunsford. Because if he was battling it out against guys that were not aesthetically pleasing, just mass monsters, he would be right there. But Derek Lunsford and even Hadi Choopan, they are very dense. So on the side poses, even on the back lat spread,
the back shots needs to get improved with density.
He's gonna have to fill up. He's gonna have to gain more mass as the years go by. He's gonna have to fill up. Maybe be 300 pounds on stage because he's a tall dude and he's facing guys that are dense.
Right. So. Yeah, with that being said, yes, I agree with you, Tarek. And that's totally different body types. And we saw the difference at the Arnold Classic. So I
You
think,
know,
go ahead.
my question to both of you guys is: Hunter Labrada the only hybrid we have? Is he a mass monster with a small waist? Is he the only hybrid we have, or can you put Derek Lunsford on that category as well?
I put Derek there also. I put Derek there. He can go against a bigger guy, a shorter guy. He's a former 212 guy himself, and I just think he just fits in the middle of all that hybrid talk.
I think, though, Chris, you probably would agree with this. He's got to be careful. This next couple of gains, and all these guys want to be power lifters and, put up major pounds, but they're thickening their waist doing all this heavy deadlift, mid-row crap, and they've got to find a way to keep that low back tight and not spread out. And I think he's risking getting thick in the midsection, so he's got to be careful this next grow.
Yeah, as long as yeah, I mean, but with Derek, his physique, the flare is so there in that front double and that rear lat spread and that rear back double also. I just like the way that the shots look on his physique. I really like that.
Well, let's take a look at this beast here.
Oh,
Boom.
I saw this, and the aesthetics of this are so pretty.
They had some when it was he was with Steve recently, I think, that he was even more dialed in than this. But in the abs a lot more dice now. I just think his backside's got to be the part you need to focus on the most. I think the front side we can all agree is pretty much there and what he's going to be as a bodybuilder.
That back is coming up, though, guys. I'm going to be excited to see when he is lean, how he looks standing next to everybody else. That's what it always comes down to. These are always impressive shots, but it always comes down to what does everybody look like under the bright lights surrounded by other big guys.
Is he holding his breath in this pose? Or what is he? Okay, Ian.
We can go back here for you. What would you recommend that he should be doing here?
You got to exhale. You got to exhale there. Exhale into these shots. It's not something you want to hold your breath in.
Symmetrically, though, Chris, where does he have, other than his back, like on any of the front stuff, what does he have left to balance out?
I just love the chest ab area right here. I don't think anyone in the sport has that type of density and polish that brings. The chest can be a little bit bigger, obviously, but I don't know how much bigger you can get with the length of the pec. It's not like Derek Lunsford. His chest is nice and long and full. So those proportions gonna come true, to where you get on stage and that's when they get stacked up and got the other guys next to you. That's when you're gonna make or break you right there.
Is he hitting this back lat spread properly?
You just probably can move those thumbs a little bit higher and right in that little crease of the lat insertion and the hip bone right there. That's where you want to place those thumbs, and then you'll get the most out of it. I don't like when people put the whole hand backwards on the lat spread. I think that makes your waist look wider, and you can't take full advantage of your lat spread.
Hey, guys, when we come back around, let him run if you would. And when he does his lat spread on both the full wingspan and then into the back double by, on both those spots, nice work, Tarek. A lot of the guys we're seeing lately are having trouble with any kind of musculature, any kind of conditioning in that mid to low back area. He's looking pretty darn good.
But I'm going to say that the back is probably his weakest shot based on how good he is from the front. And I don't mean to say his back is weak. If there is one spot that Andrew Jack, can improve is the back, right? If he has a wider back, because Chris, this guy has the space. He has the space to have a Joe Stubbs kind of back, right?
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to take some time, a little bit of time. I know he's not a young cat in the game, but keeping the right type of pressure on those lats and those the muscles in the back can improve more. I think he still got some upside because, like I said, I think he just started a little bit late in the game. I don't think he was a teenager on the sport. I mean, in the sport and competing as some of these guys have. So it's still going to be something we can watch and see.
He's so young. He's got a lot of time. Some of the guys we talked about earlier don't have an off season they can take. He could take a year, come back, win a show, get back up there, take a year, and still be in his early 30s after a couple of good, solid off seasons.
Is he in his early 30s?
No, I think he's in late 20s, isn't he, Chris?
No. I think not Jack. I think Jack's in the late 30s. I think he might be 30.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he came to the sport a little bit later than a lot of guys. If I'm not mistaken, I thought he was like 37-ish.
He looks young, just like me.
Like don't crack, boy.
Well, let's give a congratulations to Andrea Presti. A lot of the European shows are happening. Andrea Presti, he took second place to Michael Krizo, and they're both coming to the Mr. Olympia. On behalf of the Mr. Olympia, we want to welcome all the Italians to the pay-per-view. Get your pay-per-view right now so you can watch your Italian stallion on stage. Also congratulating all the athletes, not only in Portugal. We had the Republic of Texas, where Frida Paulsen won the wellness. Frida Paulsen from Sweden, she won there. And then Lexus Redmond, she won the bikini. And Jason Hume, he won the men's physique. So much for a good memory, huh?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Pretty good.
This weekend, everybody, in Atlanta is the Linda Murray Pro-Am, and we're going to have about 8 or 10, I think it's 8 divisions up there. I'll be emceeing up there, the whole gamut of women's divisions, 212, physique, and we're going to have a lot to report and who punched their ticket to this year's Olympia this weekend.
So you're going to be emceeing the Linda Murray show. Are you going to give a shout out to Primetime Muscle, or are you going to ignore it?
Like I do every time.
Are you going to talk me up or are you going to put me down?
I always talk you up, Chris. I never. I was talking about you at the gym today. Somebody said, boy, how old are you? And I said, I'm Chris Cormier, Camp Cormier old. I look that good because Chris is doing his job.
So, Tim, I filed a complaint to our director, Nico Hosen. The last episode of Primetime Muscle, I win the trivia, right? I win the trivia.
You got to put that in there. I win the trivia.
You know how he had that so locked and loaded, Chris? He couldn't wait to drop that.
Could not.
Go ahead, Derek.
I find it absolutely appalling that I did not get a trophy when I won my trivia.
You know why? Because you're not a winner. That's why.
So look at this. Look at his face. Look at his face of despair. Look at this. The celebration. Okay. So for all of you guys watching, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to all the competitors.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, since you are the main host, you finish this Primetime Muscle edition here with us. You finish it since you're much better than me.
Hey, you got this. You're doing these live stand-ups all the time. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for keeping up with everything in the sport that's leading up to this year's amazing Olympia, November 2nd through the 5th. Packages are still coming out. Pay-per-view soon. You got to lock that on or you're going to miss it. Orlando's going to be the biggest, baddest Olympia that we've ever had. And as always, on behalf of the real deal, the one and only Chris Cormier.
What's up?
His honor, the one and only super promoter and super judge, Tarek Gilgindi.
Yes.
And the trivia winner, Tarek Gilgindi.
You look leaner now than there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Tarek, I think your face came down a little bit. You look a little pudgy right there.
I was in the middle of a big rap, but I got to say, Tarek is cutting down. Tarek looks good.
You look like Belushi for sure right there, Tarek.
Oh, it's better to look like Belushi than Bill Cosby.
Now I got to say goodbye. Thanks for joining us, everybody.